please pass the egg salad on this week's episode of Cartoon Buffoons. I'm your host, Wyatt, and am I the only one who understands the complexities of this ambitious audio masterpiece? This podcast isn't stupid. You're stupid. And who is here with me today, as always?
Hello, I'm Morgan. I'm Darwin Watterson's birth mother.
And today we are here to talk about classic Cartoon Network show. Maybe not classic, but older Cartoon Network show.
It feels classic, man.
Yeah, it feels classic. It's not in the 90s, so I hesitate to call it that classic era, but it did come out in like 2002, so that's pretty fucking old. So
yeah, like, the people who were born the year this show came out can legally drink and be on the dating apps. So, yeah, that means a lot. Also, side note, guys, I clocked what quote Wyatt was going to use.
Yeah, right before.
I fucking knew it, because that's such a good Billy quote. Just like, this movie isn't stupid. You're stupid. Yeah. That's me when Venom came out. I was fucking defending Venom with my teeth and ass. Yeah. Like.
In the first part of it, the please pass the egg salad is
Fraggle.
Yeah. So needless to say, Billy and Mandy, we probably both have very similar amount of history with it, but I'll defer to you first. Like, what is your history and your relationship with the show before we get into
Billy and Mandy is maybe, and I say this as a cartoon lover and also a goth. Maybe the most formative cartoon from this era. Ed and Eddie did a lot, but this one really solidified what I find funny. There's like this show means so much to me. I have a lot of issues with it. I've been vocal about my issues with it, but I don't think they don't overpower what's great about it.
In fact, maybe one of the main characters' entire existence is
a blight on the show. But we'll talk about it. But this show means so much to me. I watched it all the time as a kid. It was one of those Randy classics. Don't turn that shit on if I'm in the room. Because my mom found Billy annoying, not funny, but just annoying. So my mom made sure, don't turn that shit on if I'm in the room. Don't play that fucking shit.
How'd you feel about SpongeBob?
She was actually neutral on SpongeBob, because SpongeBob isn't he's not evil annoying the way Billy is.
Yeah. It isn't. It's nearly as cynical as Billy and Mandy is. So.
Yeah. I will say she felt that way about Chowder, surprising no one on Earth. But Billy and Mandy it's a cartoon I remember watching. Like, watching a lot of these episodes, it kind of took me back to the moments when I remember when he's fucking aired for the first time.
Me too.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it's because this isn't a 90s show really solidifies that, because I'm 7 when the show started. So this is the peak I'm sitting down watching cartoons at show.
Yeah. When I first started watching, it was still grim and evil. And we talked about Evil Con Carne. Totally fine show. Nothing to write home about, honestly. Some funny stuff, but it feels like all of the juice was put into Billy and Mandy. But I do have an interesting opinion on that, though, that we'll get into when we get later into the discussion. But I do remember 2003, 2004 or whatever, when the grim adventures of Billy and Mandy became a thing over Grim and Evil, and they started doing the second season of episodes and things like that. And the show subtly starts to change tone after the first season and everything. And I will say it as I would say SpongeBob, it has its golden age had passed. It was season 1 through 3 is sort of that golden age, maybe 4, which is the first movie after the first season after the movie.
Yeah, there's a few hitters there. There's a few little hitters there, yeah.
But Billy and Mandy, I feel really picked up the slack, because it wasn't there wasn't other really funny cartoons on for child me. I liked, Ed and Eddie, of course. And Fairly Odd Parents and stuff like that. But Billy and Mandy, it spoke to this sort of that age group that we're in for whatever reason. Had a very morbid sense of humor.
No, I think. Go ahead.
No, yeah, you had a point.
Yeah, I think it's the I think it's the darkification of it. Like, I think when you're hitting a moment when you're starting to hit like the awareness of death and all these other ideas, Billy and Mandy really gets. Like, I think Billy and Mandy might be in the same grouping as like Invader Zim and shit, in that like this is a cartoon that's very much for like the kid sickos. Like, all kids will like it, but a kid that's going to grow up to be a sicko is going to remember this for the rest of their life. Like, that kind of vibe is happening here. Yeah,
and it's going to be like that aspect of it is going to be very important, like going forward. But yeah, it's just like an interesting tastemaker of a show, and you know, this was around the same time as a lot of the early Adult Swim shows as well, like Aqua Teen and C-Lab and things like that have like are extremely cynical, have really stupid humor, and like C-Lab has so many episodes that just waste your fucking time and like annoy you,
dude. Just literally like the most dumb, annoying shit on earth. But also, I rewatched it and had the time of my fucking life.
Yeah.
So
we'll talk about the Adult Swim shows at some point. We'll find a way. But yeah, so Billy and Mandy, I feel like kind of the first time that it really clicked with me is like, man, this show is brilliant. To my dumb, and this is I don't even think this is a good episode now necessarily, but the Chicken Ball Z episode was like the first.
Oh, what a that's like that's a lot of kids' first hard parody of something they know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, we get a lot of cartoon parodies of stuff that your parents know, but this is a parody of something that you know and you are currently watching. And I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool.
This show has so many things that I absolutely did not get at all as a kid, and then watching it as an adult, it just made me laugh my ass off, purely because it's a reference to a thing I know, and people always talk about how reference humor isn't good, but when it's like it's very subtle and not really remarked upon, it can be super good. In the Elves versus Dwarves episode, there's a moment where Billy has to go turn off the barrier that's surrounding the like elves' house, and as soon as he walks into the room with the barrier, it's just the shot from Star Wars where they're going through the barrier and like it's the same room and everything. And as soon as that happened, I just laughed so hard because I never noticed that before, because I wasn't really. I mean, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan now, but I definitely.
But you didn't like see,
yeah, like it didn't click with me as a thing. But it's just such a it's so quick that you know.
I think it's like it's almost anti-parody.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like it's parody and like a callback and a reference, but it's an anti-reference. It's a reference as in the reference is that this is no work put in whatsoever.
Absolutely. It's so lazy and nonsensical that the elves would have literally the barrier generator from Star Wars on the Death Star. You know, like, why would that be a thing?
And when they do like real earnest references, they feel different. They feel like this is like inspired instead of like I think a perfect example of that is like the what is it? The Bring Me Brains episode, right? Yeah. Where it's not exactly the plot of Little Shop of Horror, but it's obviously a Little Shop of Horror episode, right?
Yeah.
Like, that episode is played more straight to what it's supposed to be, because that's something they actually care about. Like, I don't know. Like, I say, like, there's, like, a lot of goth undertones in this show, and I mean it. Like, there's, like, a lot of references to, like, those old horror things. And, like, you know Maxwell Adams, dude, like, loved trip pants. Like, this is the kind of show you, like, he loves himself a bow tie. Like,
I would say, genuinely, the first season or two are, like, actually really good mix of tone where it's comedic but also gothic. After that point, it really starts to just turn into comedy, and I think I'm gonna say that I think the culprit is largely C.H. Greenblatt's presence in the show. But I don't think that's a bad thing.
We're gonna
because I think. Yeah.
we are going to suck that man's dick on this podcast, everybody. I'm so sorry. Seeing Gray Black is really funny. It don't work for everybody, but it works for me, baby.
Remember every single episode that you're like, man, that was so funny. You know those quotes, both quotes that I said? Yeah, that was CH Green. And then also the, like, Fred Burger and Dracula and, like, all these characters. It's like that you remember and love. All him. Secret Snake Club, that episode, which is one of my favorites. That is definitely very high up there.
Really, really funny episode. Also, all from the second half of the show.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy this show was able to, like, get its footing again and go, all right, no, we're still funny.
Yeah.
And we're funny different. We're different funny. But still keep the vibe of the show. That's wild that it did that. Because a lot of people are like, oh, man, they're running out of steam. Like, they're just like, no, like... They could have did another transformation. This show is so interesting that it's able to do that.
I would say even Chowder, like that had a problem where by season 3 it just feels like they don't give a shit about the world that they've created. They're just sort of, here's jokes with these characters, which is like kind of true with Billy and Mandy, but it's more so that they move away from the goth stuff and just start going into like general fantasy. Like there's like a Last Unicorn episode later on, and it's like the whole point is that it's like a cutesy fairy tale world instead of like a dark, grim sort of thing. You still get that. You still get like Pinhead and Cthulhu and stuff like that. But like the like that there, and then we should mention we're talking about voice actors. We usually talk about voice actors, but like the unicorn in that episode, I was like, oh, that's the same voice actor as like Eris in Mindy. Who is that? And then I looked it up. Rachel McFarlane.
Rachel McFarlane of the McFarlane clan. Yeah. Rachel McFarlane also busts her ass. She is fucking voice acting like a motherfucker. She's in the Owl House. She's fucking everywhere. Also really funny as a TV writer too.
Yeah.
Like I stand on this hill, man. American Dad kind of goes crazy.
Yeah.
Like
American Dad. I think people are like, oh, American Dad is sort of the overall best show of the like McFarlane shows, like the Seth MacFarlane shows. Family Guy and Cleveland
Cinematic
show.
Universe, yeah.
Though it may be a low bar to cross. I don't know how much people like the Cleveland show though. So
I don't think anyone's thought about it until we mentioned it right now. I feel like we shook someone awake when we said it right now.
They broke out of the Matrix.
No, but she's like her performance as Eris never fails to make me fucking laugh.
Yeah, it's really good.
Like every single time, it's so good.
Yeah, and there's probably a lot of pornography of Eris, so
Oh, that's crazy. Do you mind if we stop the podcast and I Google something unrelated to what you just said? Yeah, but let me just.
But yeah, what's going on? Yeah, and then but just like the main trio of characters, also like all great voices. I feel like what's his name? Who voices Billy?
Richard Stephen
Horvitz.
Yeah.
He doesn't get that much work. Like he doesn't do that many.
He doesn't, and he should.
Because I really only think of him as like, oh, he's Zim and he's Billy. Those are like the two main voices that I think of.
Isn't he Dag, or am I high?
In
Angry Beavers.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and he's Dag. Yeah, that's like, oh man, that's for like 9 people, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck yeah, Dag.
I think about him like in the 90s, like doing stuff like that, and then in the early 2000s. But then after that, I'm like, okay, what is he? He's like Alpha in Power Rangers. I just remember that. I. Yeah.
I'm not looking it up. He's also he's Gray Matter from the Ben 10, which is cool, and he's also Dr. Chipotle Jr.
Yeah,
from LT Gray. But that's another for people that hoop. It's not for everybody.
He's just like not the like, even though he's a super iconic voice, he's like not the most prolific. I mean, you look at Grey Delisle and she's like in fucking everything. She's all over the place. You know, she's great as Mandy. Greg Eagles as Grimm. Again, another voice actor that's like not like, he's in stuff, but he's not in a ton.
It's kind of annoying because he is so fucking good as Grimm. Mm-hmm. Like, consistently, some of my favorite comedic like moments and like just like the use of tone. He's so goddamn funny, and it's a bummer more people are just like getting him out there and hiring him, dude.
Yeah, just super good. He's Aku Aku in Crash Bandicoot. That's basically like the other major role that I can like remember him, you know, being in. And maybe some things here and there again, but like, but okay, this leads us to talking about.
We've talked about the cast we like.
Yeah, about someone else, Vanessa Marshall as Irwin. Irwin, I feel like, is one of the maybe the worst aged characters in the entire show, just on a level of. I remember thinking he was funny as a kid, and as I've gotten older and like befriended black people, they have all said,
"Yeah, I don't know if Irwin's it, brother." Like, as a black friend, I don't know. I think the nerdy black friend is a cartoon trope that I can live with, right?
Sure. Yeah.
The nerdy black friend who's in love with white women and says "yo" at the end of his sentences, and is voiced by a white woman. Now, that might be a step too far for your old friend Morgan. Yeah. I might have to take a step back on this one. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's the thing is, though, Irwin gets a few good jokes. I'm not going to pretend like Irwin's not funny. I just think... I don't think he's funny enough to warrant him being in the show the way he is. And it's a bummer, because I think everything else around Irwin's funnier. I think his dad is funnier than him. I think his grandma's funnier than him. Like, I think literally, like,
Phil Lamar... voiced by Phil Lamar,
Yeah, I think Phil Lamar's performance is super funny as, like, all the other black people in the show.
Yeah.
But then I remember... Fuck, Irwin is this white woman who's go, "What's up, yo? How's everybody doing, yo?" Like
this was that era where that would, like, because it wasn't until fairly recently probably that they paid more. Like, I remember thinking, like, when we're watching these shows and like looking at voice actors and me being like, oh my god, they actually did get a person of color to play, like with Grimm specifically, you know, it's like, I know about Greg Eagles, but that's like, oh, they have him, he's doing a Jamaican accent or a Caribbean accent, and they actually have a black guy doing it instead of, you know, a white guy
from Cincinnati.
Doing it. Which is nice. And with this case, it's like, again, like as a kid, you know, when you're not like, you're just taking it at face value. It's like, oh, funny character, whatever. But then, like, as you get older, it just becomes like a little bit more uncomfortable, and it just, you know, it becomes very annoying because he becomes like, the joke is just that he's like
he's
like
black,
becomes very racial. Like, it becomes, you know, kind of like dependent on his race.
And then it goes for like this, oh yeah, he's black, and the joke is he doesn't like hip-hop music and he doesn't know about crime, and I'm like, I don't know if that hits, guys. I'm not... What?
Like, if he was just a dorky black kid,
he'd be 1 in a million.
Yeah,
like, he'd be
exactly.
1 in a million.
It would be exactly like fucking 4 other characters that were on TV at the same time, you know, like Timmy's friend and that, and then like the kid in fucking Danny Phantom and
the friend and fucking all the other cartoons ever. Dude, I truly think that, like, maybe fucking Kids Next Door, whenever we talk about that, was the first time I saw a cool black person. Like, it feels like it sometimes, like, fuck.
And I would say, like, that's the good thing about that's one thing I really like about Craig the Creek, is that the main character is like the dorky black kid, but he's not
the only one. Like,
one, he's not the only black character, and 2, he has more to his personality than he is like a smart nerd. You know, he's actually like a 3-dimensional character that has multiple facets to his personality, and has like a family and a history and everything like that. And then like, I mean, even his psychic characters of JP and Kelsey are pretty
like,
fleshed
really
out.
A lot of depth, yeah.
Yeah, but like, you know, clearly Craig, he's the main character. He has the most depth.
Now, I do want to say, though, I am able to and have forgiven this show for the racial misstep that is Irwin in the hip-hop episode for one singular reason. Dracula might just be the funniest character to ever exist in a cartoon, full stop. So I'm willing to forgive any missteps they take with other black characters because Dracula is so goddamn funny. Morgan, what makes Dracula funny? No other reason than his whole bit is that they told Phil Lamar to be an ornery old black man. And that's it. They just turned the camera on. I'm like, Dracula loves fried fish. Dracula gotta go get the early bird special. Dracula don't suck, stupid. Dracula scrape and lick. And I'm like, this is it. I'm sorry, everybody. Phil Lamar's hooping here, bro. He might be an all-time voice actor purely for this performance.
Yeah.
I'm in tears. The fact that Dracula showed up till season 4, I was in fucking tears, bro. Crying and laughing my ass off at how funny Dracula is.
Yeah, the like episode in the final season with Van Helsing where we learn like their backstory. Is so good.
He like this. Hey, you want to see Dracula dance? Let's go like this. I knew it was over for me there. No woman can resist Dracula's dancing. I was in fucking tears. Because it's so funny.
You could just hear like the wind and like the traffic in the background. Like there's no music or anything as he's dancing.
His butt bounces once, and that's the only noise. I can't believe they made such a clean joke. Like, it is a joke that, like, someone said, like, I can imagine, like, pictures like this. Oh, we should add this. And they'd be like this. Nah.
Yeah.
We kind of just gotta let this one go. And he's so fucking... Also, Dracula this. Dracula's married? Yeah. And then Dracula like this. Oh, let me go in the house. He goes to the house as a bat. He's like this. Woman, you tried to kill me. I didn't know you could turn into a bat. Everybody knows Dracula can turn into a bat, woman. And it has me in tears.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, and Dracula will be in episodes that have no Billy and Mandy in it, and he still carries it.
Yeah.
That's a testament to how funny he is.
There is, like, at the beginning of that episode where Grimm is, like, trying to plead to Van Helsing, like, no, he's a a great citizen. He's a good person, and that whole scene with the mini golf thing, he just is like whacking the balls like as hard as possible into people's faces and like other things, and then like he gets it squirted out, and then Grimm is just like politely still playing mini golf like on his own, even though he wanted to do it with Dracula, and then just like afterwards when he's he's thinking of like, okay, what about now? And he's just like tapping his mouth and everything. It's so good. Again, Greenblatt, so funny. Just so many
just
episodes.
A really funny fucking guy, dude.
Yeah, just like so many like gestures and moments and scenes that I'm like, oh my god, this feels like proto Chowder in a way.
It does. I think a great example of that is we're jumping around a lot, but honestly, this show's good. I'm just jump around a lot. The court episode is maybe the most Chowder feeling episode of Billy and Mandy. And here's the thing,
That's a fucking musical
I'm gonna
number.
say, yeah, I watched the court episode last night with Kathy. I made sure to watch it with my partner. And when I tell you that I saw their face go from "this is funny" to "holy fucking shit, this is annoying." And I was like, Steve Graham-Blatt is balling, bro. He's out here balling. Like, he's doing his big thing. Like, Big Dog is on campus. Because his number one calling card is, I'm going to make a character so annoying that you, the watcher, become annoyed. But also, other characters in the scene are annoyed. So they become your surrogate. And the thing is, though, it's a fine line to dance.
Yeah.
But when he does it correctly, some of the funniest television you will ever see. I can't express how like, hey, Judge, can I have your hammer thingy, Judge? It just explains like this. For give me that. And
smashing it into the wall.
Yes. He's like, no, Judge, I'm almost done, Judge, and just keeps going. Like he takes it, just hits him on the head. Ow!
So like, And like Fred Burger's voiced by him too. Like,
yes, he's doing his most annoying performance possible.
Yeah.
Like he was like, only I could do this, guys. I need to like really show people what I'm about. You got to put me in, coach. Like
So I remember like learning about this from some podcast or another that I like listened to. I think it was around the time before Jellystone was coming out that there was like that he was doing a few like interviews and stuff like that, and he mentioned like Fred Burger and everything because that was like a Cartoon Network was like, yeah, we love Fred Burger, which is funny that it's like season 5 introduced, and then it's like crazy. One more season after that. You know, there's like 1 or 2 more episodes with Fred Burger like before the end of the series, and then like Under Fist, which I was planning to watch, but I actually didn't get around to it. But
Me neither.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that a little bit. Yeah,
but he said that he like originally the episode was just supposed to be a normal 11-minute episode, but he just has this problem of like, yeah, I just overextend these premises and like blow them out of proportion. Like same thing with like the Secret Snake Club one where it's like, why does that need to be 22 minutes? You know, but like in a funny way where it's like there's a lot of dead air in that episode.
But it's supposed to. Yeah, that episode needs it. Like
yeah, and it's just again you have like these stupid annoying characters and moments and everything. And then it's like, oh, you add in the song number and everything that adds on to the time. And I don't know, that to me that's just like a hallmark, you know,
of his work. Like, cause I think sometimes bits have to go longer than needed to be funny that it's still going on.
Yeah,
like I think that's like what makes it work so well. Like when we go back to like the Snake Society, right? I think Grimm futzing around with a dial-up computer for 2 minutes is annoying, but also I'm in tears laughing my ass. Also, let me just say, Grimm's subtle digs are like, you kids never heard of mouthwash? He's just like this. You know what? I'm going to say it. You kids are old enough to use deodorant. I've been holding my breath trying not to vomit in here the whole time. And I'm like, shit, man. What a good episode to just be mean to nerds.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Tom Kenny as like the main nerd, like he has a really good nerd voice that's like different from like the SpongeBob voice, where like just the way that he like enunciates words like
we must summon Snizzagog.
like also that's the second season. The fact that it's like, oh, as soon as they were done with Grim and Evil, basically like, all right, here we are, you know, and I'm like looking through it and I'm like, holy crap, like, you know,
it feels like they were waiting for Grim and Evil's death. It feels like they were waiting for the death of Evil Con Carne.
The episode
like to like really start going.
Like the first episode of the season being with Jeff being voiced by Maxwell Adams, which I actually didn't know until...
Oh, me fucking neither. I was like, who voices Jeff? Like, that's Maxwell... Because the thing is, though, Maxwell Adams is such a, like, weird figure. I always forget he sounds like that. He has such a nice, soft-spoken
exactly.
voice.
Like, he's... I was like, oh, yeah, he is, like, a dorky guy. Just, like, you know, all these people that are, like, making cartoons. Like, the name Maxwell Adams sounds so cool, and the cartoon that he's making is so, like, edgy and, like... cool.
Like, hi guys, hey everybody.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like probably also, his normal speaking voice in manner of person is just being Jeff, you know, and like that's really funny. I like that they sort of give like a conclusion to Billy and Jeff's relationship with the Spider Queen, like
like he stops being scared of him a little bit later on. Yeah, it's really good. I also I don't know if it's because of the HBO Max ordering. Every season opens either the first episode or the second episode of every season is a Jeff episode, and I think that's really fucking funny.
Yeah, they just really love that.
Hey, Dad! Like the thing is, I could go, "Hey, Dad." Oh, I'm sorry, Dad. I love you, Dad. Like, Jeff is such a funny voice and character because whenever they zoom in on, he is terrifying. I feel bad because like if I had a chance, I'd be scared, but he's still like this. You know,
that does remind me of a really good like Irwin joke in the Keeper of the Reaper episode when he's like warped into the thing to be on the panel and he's just like looking, and from his perspective, he's like barely ever involved in the
underworld
shenanigans. So he's like looking around the courtroom, and you just see these like horrifically detailed versions of all the goofy monsters, and it's so fucking funny. Like, it's just every single drawing that you look at is just so gruesomely detailed that it's funny.
I want to go home, Billy.
But yeah, just I love that. I love whenever you do a zoom in, and you see the grotesque detail on a character. I will say that the Spider Queen thing, that kind of was marketed as like a second movie. I don't think it's as good as the first. Obviously, it's like pretty slow scope and everything because it's just like
it's a great backstory movie.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like just a spider lady controls a school or whatever. Whereas the Big Boogie Adventure feels like an actual TV movie. So
I do love the movies are both around Grimm's high school. High school. That's pretty funny.
It's so stupid. Like how much we know about Grimm's past. Like he should be like an immortal being with like no past and no history or whatever, all this stuff, but we just know so much about. I love in the Spider Queen special when he gets he's getting bullied, and then and Velma stands up for him, and then he's like, "No, don't. I'm sure you might not have noticed, but I was very embarrassed by that." And then he's like sobbing on the ground. I'm like, "No, don't look at me." And then Mandy going, "Wow, you were even more of a wuss back then."
I think the Spider-Queen movie is funny because it's somehow the nerdiest piece of media ever made without being obvious. Because the goddamn Spider-Queen is a reference not only to fucking Doctor Who, but also to fucking D&D. They're like, oh yes, our Spider-Queen who has a bunch of dark elves around her. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
What a nerdy fucking show.
Yeah.
What a nerdy show. And also, you got to be deeply nerdy to get why she has dark elves. Like, well, goddamn, they got me. I'm also fucking nerdy. Well, great. Like,
yeah. And there is. Oh, that's also another thing is that it's weird, like having watched the show from very early on, and then again, it sort of like evolves away from being like the sort of dark comedy into just like straight up stupid comedy. And that ends up meaning that like a character like Nurgle, who was like sort of the main villain of the show.
Yeah, really unsettling too in the beginning too, yeah.
And he like barely ever shows up. Like he shows up here and there, like he gets an episode, like him and Nurgle Jr. and whatever, like they get episodes later on, but it's just weird that like it's or interesting and whatever. And there are some early episodes that are David Feast doing the storyboards and everything, and I'm like, this is really fucking, it feels very much like a David Feast show. It feels very much like Cow and Chicken or whatever. I mean, Cow is Billy and Chicken is Mandy.
The thing is, I feel like watching this show after not liking Cow and Chicken and not liking all of the like sons and contemporaries of Ren and Stimpy, right? This show is able to hit that thing a lot, hit those vibes a lot, without ever making me go, man, I wish I wasn't fucking watching this. And I can't really put my finger on why. I can't really even put my finger on why either. But like, I think it is the like, even when we get to the dumber seasons, I think it's the gothic tone to draw us back into a point of like the balance, like there is like this, because like the thing is, I think the perfect example of that is like you say like characters don't show up again, and that's true for a lot of stuff. But Nurgle Jr.'s first episode, he is just straight up murdering and freezing the bodies of everyone that we know.
Yeah.
And then Nurgle Jr. shows up later on, and he just keeps showing up, and I'm like, it's really funny he's here after, and also he hints at doing murder again when he shows up.
Yeah.
It's really good, actually. Like, I think it's that constant balance and dance of like, yeah, the joke is that these guys are silly, annoying, and loud, right? But the other joke is that they're hideous, murderous monsters everywhere.
Yeah.
And they just kind of got to vibe out with them a little bit.
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
think that works so well.
I like that the show never loses that entirely. even again by like the last season, you still do get episodes of like where they're talking about there's like horror characters or like gothic elements and things like that. I mean, the Spider Queen, that's like a big one. Like that's in the final season. It's sort of like a finale to the show, and then also the Billy and Mandy Moon the Moon, which I do want to talk about those CN invaded things, but I kind of want to do that as a standalone episode at some point. So
because we did one, we didn't really talk about it at Ed and Eddie.
Yeah,
there's one in there too.
So there's one in Ed and Eddie. There's one in Billy and Mandy. Then Camp Laszlo, My Gym Partner's a Monkey, and Foster's, I believe, are the other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I want to talk about those. Yeah, exactly. And the Billy and Mandy is kind of like the most popular show, so it makes sense that it got the end of, like, I learned at some point, it might have been from like a Pan Pizza video or something, that it was supposed to be like a Kraft mac and cheese promotion, which is why all the aliens were like the concept of them liking cheese was such a connective tissue across all of the shows. But they lost that branding, but they still made the episodes, so they're like, I guess it's just aliens, it's just nondescript aliens.
Can I guess, like, can I ask, is there any episode that like jumps out to you when you were watching it, like one that like you didn't remember liking as much as you did when you watched it? Because someone was talking. I was in a call, and a friend said, "Yeah, I remember the Valhalla episode," and I'm like, "Fuck, I remember that vaguely too." And I rewatched that episode. Man, some of Billy's best jokes are in that fucking episode. Just like, we have a sweet elixir. I have unlimited use like this. Can we go? You said I had unlimited use, and he just stands underneath a fountain of root beer for an hour. He goes like this: violence is bad. We can use our words. Billy, no one dies here, Valhalla. We just come back to the hall to eat. Oh. And Billy starts murdering people with Mjolnir then. Just fucking out. It's fucking great. Like, it's a great joke. It's so dark and it's funny.
Yeah. For me, I would say the crass unicorn, the one that's like the last unicorn joke.
Yeah.
Like, because I had never watched or read The Last Unicorn until like this rewatch here, so now I got a lot of the jokes, and how dumb some of the jokes are, like the idea that the unicorns just like left to go to the sea, whereas in the book they're like forced into the sea by the Red Bull. And in this, they just go into the sea for some reason. They're just like, yep, we're leaving into the sea. And it's just a very funny episode because it's one of the few episodes where, like, I don't know, where Billy is treated as, like, his optimism, I don't know, is treated as, like, both a noble and a negative value.
They do that a lot.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to like describe, but it's like a lot of times they'll have Billy and he'll be like stupid and naive, and that's funny. And like that's kind of it. They don't dig into it deeper. But the whole episode is about the fact of like, oh, he's able to look at the brighter side of life. That's why he's so gormless and happy and everything. And he's just, doesn't accept how horrible the reality of his life is, basically. And like the episode being about like, here's this unicorn that on the surface thinks that her life is terrible and that she's like abandoned, and then that just turns out to be true. Like it's 100% true that she like nobody likes her and she was abandoned by her people and everything. And then, like, the episode just ends with, like, Billy remains in, like, that fantasy world with all the other unicorns, and she comes to the human world and is, like, sitting on the couch with Mandy and Grimm watching TV at Billy's house. So, I think,
like, there's a lot of episodes where they, like, really play up in a fun way that Billy is the opposite of Mandy, and it's not just because of dumb smart. Like Billy has like for a gross character, right?
Yeah.
He has such a strong moral compass in a way that's very funny. Like he's like he hates violence unless his inner frat boy tells him he needs to do it. he like is like very he like takes care of animals. He loves all this stuff. He hates bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's funny. He's like the most normal child in the show. He's like a normal child cranked up to like 1 billion.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be like why he goes up against Mandy in like the like an opposites kind of way. And it works really well so many times. Like, I love the episode where he like I want to be a hero. I want to slay a dragon. Killing a dragon's wrong. Mm-hmm. Killing a dragon is evil. We don't kill things. We're supposed to love them. Like, what the fuck is he on about?
Yeah.
I also think the inner frat boy like moment from the clown episode is maybe the funniest joke I've ever heard. Like this, Billy, I'm your inner frat boy. I don't know, have inner frat boy. You all have inner frat boys, Billy. And here's the thing: you shouldn't be afraid of people who's different. You should be angry at them for being different. How dare they be different than you? Is your life not good enough for them? The world's set up this way for a reason, Billy. You should beat them. And I'm like, Billy, don't fall for your alt-right bigot that lives in your head. Billy, no, don't go down the pipeline, Billy. Yeah. It's a really good joke. Like,
yeah, that I love. There's so many, and again, there's just so many fucking episodes of like that. It had a joke or whatever that I just didn't get until coming back to it. Like the beginning of the Duck episode with the. Grimm is having like a family sitcom with his wife who is like a horrible like chimera monster. And then, she slips and says Billy, and then he's like, wait, this is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful wife.
My beautiful wife.
And then Billy wakes him up with same as it ever was, same as it ever was.
That's also the Dune episode where they just I can't believe there's just a straight up top to bottom Dune episode. Like, not even the bullshit like this. Yes, Grimm, I'm a horrible worm monster. Yeah. The only thing that can defeat her is cinnamon. The spice. Just like, and the thing though, that's not even the only Dune reference.
Yeah.
Like, Gum Jabbar. Like, I can't believe that, like who the fuck is that for?
Yeah.
I feel like 2006 is the point where, like, I don't know if people are picking up Dune references that hard.
That's the thing.
But, like, it's for them.
Yeah, you have, like, Star Wars is one thing. Lord of the Rings, those just had the big movies. So there is, like, in the Dwarves episode, like, literally, they have, like, the Council of Rivendell where you have like all the races, and there's like the lawyer that's like, all right, the humans will take the fast food industry, and like going down the list of what the different races are doing, and then saying like the dwarves will be cookies and the elves are going to mine mushrooms, and then like Daddy Elf, who is like a Keebler elf style like a guy, tricks them and switches it around. And that's another one of those quotes that like really stuck in my head all these years of, when Billy eats a mushroom and says, "It tastes like my cat. It tastes like everyone's cat." And that's Michael Dorn as the lead dwarf. So good, love him. But I mean, that episode also just has fucking Yogi and Boo Boo show up in it, which I feel like. And that is a Greenblatt episode, so he'll take that energy and create Jellystone, like...
in the future.
Yeah, like 20 years later or whatever.
But, like, I don't know. I think it's cool that, like, we get all those references and, like, we get a Harry Potter parody. Not once, not twice, 3 times.
Yeah.
But I do think, like, it's great that, like, these guys are like, yeah, they love the books, man. They're like, yeah, let's get a Dune reference in there. It's so intense. I'm surprised there's not a Song of Ice and Fire reference in this fucking show.
Yeah. That is surprising, because like that would be the true mark of nerdiness, because most people would think about that post Game of Thrones, the show, but like people were into that shit,
Yeah, people were reading those fucking books.
Yeah, I mean the I won't say it's like the funniest episode, but I remember I loved the giant monster episode of Billy and Mandy, like as a kid, because that was when I was very into like Godzilla and Gamera and all of that, and I was like, oh my god, they're actually they're doing Cragger like Gamera. And then I'm just
the King Ghidorah cat, it's there's also the first season, the idea of like fucking Grimm goes, I'm gonna just make all your Pokemon cards real.
Yeah.
Billy, leave me alone.
Yeah.
That's another good one. I don't know. There's like a lot of referential humor in this show, but it's very much they take it and they stretch it into their world. Unless it's so obscure, they can one for one it, like Dune. I think the only reason why they one for one it in the Dune episode is because the joke becomes less so that it's just like Dune, but it's just a normal episode kids will think is weird.
Yeah.
Because like this, no, but people that know, they're like, guys, this is just Dune. Yeah, that's a joke, buddy.
Yeah.
Like
that's it's weird that there have been multiple Dune references in shows that we talked, because that was also in the Dexter's Lab movie.
Yeah.
So it's like these guys are fucking so nerdy that they're able to pull it. Like, I feel like Dune references are the nerdiest form of, I mean, Star Wars used to be incredibly nerdy in like the 90s.
Yeah, but now it's different.
Now it's like normie shit. Like people making
like in the Dune movies are like kind of making Dune like that, but this is the point where like no, these guys had to scour through those weird ass fucking books where like the main character doesn't show up till later, and like. Listen, look, I want to see the real Dune fans when those movies get to like fucking like Atreus' like son being a worm monster and the main bad guy for thousands of years. Yeah. Then let's see if you guys like ball. Let's see if you guys fucking really like want to ball out with us. But until then, I don't know, man. It's such a good show. It's a great show. It has a fantastic sense of humor, even if it gets a little iffy.
Yeah,
but like
there's some elements here and there that haven't aged well, that we talked about already with like Irwin and everything, and just in general, like that speaks to a sort of like, we don't care. Like these are just punchlines to us. Like, and that is like a little bit disappointing, and like hopefully that, like over time that has kind of like been filtered out of cartoons. I mean, we still do get the nerdy black character, like Loud House has that, but also Chris Savino's a hack.
Also, it's the fucking loud. Oh, Wyatt, we were so close. We were so close.
That's true. We haven't mentioned him in a while, though. A couple episodes we haven't.
You slid in. Chris Savino's a fucking hack. Yeah.
We could have just mentioned the Loud House without mentioning that it was created by anybody. That we could have just done that.
Chris, we know you listen.
Go kill
we
yourself.
Still hate you over here, buddy.
Yeah.
Whoa! Oh my God. Okay, great. Holy shit, we're going a little distance. But yeah, that's the Billy and Mandy energy, baby.
Yeah.
Because Mandy does tell Billy to kill himself a few times, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
Dude, I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good show.
Yeah.
Good, I was gonna say good fucking show. Side thing. I watched the Lord Byron episode. I don't know if you watched that one where Billy sucks on Grimm's head. That episode 1, can't stop calling that JoJo Bizarre's Adventure episode.
Yeah.
It kind of just is. Can I just say, I have not stopped thinking about Spurg's mom since I saw her, bro. I don't know what to do, man. I don't know what to do about it, man. That's so fucking...
Is that one's like attached to the Schlubs episode, right? Like...
Yeah. I think so.
So that one's also very, and another like Smurfs, very good. That also has the My Troubled Pony at the beginning with they're sending me to the glue factory. It's like one of those like soap operas, but very good.
I guess one last thing actually.
Okay.
This show also has some of my favorite. We were in the same studio as animation moments. I think the fact that sometimes because we know that oh man, what's his name? The Kids Next Door guy. Fuck.
Mr. Warburton.
Yeah, Mr. Warburton. Mr. Warburton just being like he's on some credits of some of these some credits of this episode and show and vice versa for Maxwell Adams. And just, I do love whenever number 3 shows up like this. Thank you, Boogie, for giving me the chance to be the Grim Reaper. I can now harvest adult souls.
Yeah. Well,
like this,
yeah.
She's on a 3-week, test period. We'll see how she's working out. And then also just like the end of the episode, they break reality. Professor Utonium's there, like, girls, wake up. And like, guys, we're gonna just keep flying and never look back. Just
yeah. Yeah, that's good. It's like, I don't know. I just always appreciate that when it feels like there's some kind of connective tissue between the different shows on the network, or there's some kind of, they're like trying to reference each other. Like that doesn't happen that often anymore. but
yeah, everything feels more gotta feel more contained. I think it's because shows are slightly more serious.
Yeah,
not serious like they still do comedy, but they don't do like oddball comedy like this really that much anymore.
OKKO feels like the last big one to do that because it has like Sonic and shit and like Captain Planet and the girls from Ghoul School and things like that in it. The last thing I can remember that is kind of like that is that there's an episode of Mao Mao where he has to become like a pacifist sort of character, and he like his character design changes to like look like a Steven Universe character, and he has like a pink shirt and a ukulele, and he's like playing like Rebecca Sugar style, like very like twee songs and everything, as like some horrific dragon monster is like destroying everything. That's like the last thing that I can remember that where it's like, okay, yes, that is making fun of Steven Universe, but it feels like
it's a good fun.
I would say, yeah, it feels like they probably are like friends or whatever. Like he's not like, yeah, fuck you, I'm owning you, cucked CalArt style, or whatever. Like
fucking
like a lot of people
go broke bullshit. Does like yeah.
But that feels like it's in good fun. Same thing with the, like Billy and Mandy, like making fun of Powerpuff Girls. It's like, oh, it's not about Powerpuff
it's like
Girls is lame. It's just funny that these three characters become the Powerpuff Girls, and then they're just like, yeah, let's just ride out into the sunset,
I do also want to say there's a joke in this show that's like Dr. Gaylord for like the dinosaur. I'm like, they let y'all get away with that? Like Gaylord's a real last name. Yeah, I know it's a real last name, but that's not why you named the character Gaylord Maxwell Adams. We know what you are. Like,
there are a ton of little jokes here and there that I'm like, how the fuck did they get away with this? Like saying this or doing this and things like that.
Like fucking Spurg's mom shows up and the principal's face melts off and he starts wiggling his legs and goes, I'm gonna need a tissue. I'm like, whoa, my guy, did you come? Did you just come? Same, bestie, but also, did you come?
I don't know. There's just like a lot of little things like that throughout the show, but
I would recommend just throw an episode of this on, everybody, please. Just throw a few episodes on.
Just go and skim seasons earlier on if you do want more of that like cooler, more gothic sort of like stuff that is more tonally similar to like Invader Zim. Early on is definitely the way to go. But if you do want stuff that's more tonally similar to like Chowder or Jellystone, then go ahead and watch like some of the later episodes, especially like if you can find one with Greenblatt doing it. Like obviously he's not the only person to make the show funny.
No, a lot of guys make the show funny. Yeah.
Like there's a lot of funny. Maxwell Adams, I'm sure, is like he's the captain in charge. So he's like directing the writing, in a certain direction and everything. Like he's guiding the style of the show. Like it wasn't a thing where like network execs got involved or whatever. It was more like his own style and taste of humor or whatever, like was probably influenced by the people that he hired, and vice versa. And then it just changed over time, and then we get an episode where it's like, oh, a Nazi duck is a ghost of a Nazi duck is following Grimm around and like making fart noises. And then is like embarrassing him. So that's an entire plot of an episode. And then the fact that and the Chupacabra one are connected to each other, strange. Man, so good. And that being a Ring parody, like for some reason, is just like, come on. but all right, I think that's enough talking about the show. I think we got a good, because most of it was just reminiscing about how funny it was, or certain jokes and everything like that. But I think we got a good conversation out of it. I love this show. I totally recommend it to a lot of people. It may be too dark and cynical at some points for some people.
Also, sometimes too loud. It's also sometimes too loud. Like sometimes the show does get really like I say it balances being annoying, but sometimes if you're not built, it can sometimes just be straight up fucking annoying. So
Yeah,
I can be honest about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the famous "Destroy Us All," the
Destroy us all. I'll have the chicken. Destroy us all. God, what a fucking good joke, man.
Yeah. And just like that fucking episode. Multiple of my, like, one, the fact that like the clown that is created is like this. It's supposed to be like,
horrifying.
oh, it's like a fun balloon clown, but it's like this horrific monster.
Dude, it's so legitimately scary. Like, I fucking hate looking at it. Like when it goes rah, and like the balloons are, I'm like, bro, guys, come on. I had to watch this as a child. Can we chill out?
And then when like Grim and Mandy, like when they're trying to convince Billy that clowns are funny, and Grim picks up Billy and is like, "Come on, laugh." It's supposed to be funny, right?
Why? When I tell you, Kathy looked at me, I was like crying like this. Laugh, damn it! He's like, laugh, darn you! Like just shaking Billy, and Billy's like screaming and crying, and like I was in tears. They do like a head-on shot of Grim screaming at him, and I'm like in tears. It's so fucking funny. Oh man, he's like traumatized. Also, sorry, I keep talking about fucking shit. There's also the other scene where like Jeff's like gets angry at his dad. He's like this, "I'll make you love me." That and Billy's in the spider web like, "I love you, I love you," just crying. So many episodes end with Billy being deeply, deeply traumatized, and it's so funny.
God.
God damn, we have to stop. We gotta keep going.
But anyway. Morgan, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Oh, man. All right, guys. I am Girl Next Vor on Tumblr. Co-host until it's dead. Mm-hmm. And on Blue Sky. However, Blue Sky was supposed to die, but a little girl beat the Grim Reaper in a game. So it seems as though Blue Sky will hold on for a little bit, but trust and believe top men are looking into it to free him from his pact with the little girl so Blue Sky can die. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. As for anywhere else, you gotta find me. I'm on Twitter until Elon Musk gets it shut down because he's a moron. I'm still there. In order to find out where I'm at, you must go to Mexico and find your long-lost twin brother and connect your birthmarks. Yeah. Don't know if you guys saw that episode of Billy and Mandy. Wyatt, where can we find you?
Well, you can go on over to Twitter as well. That's basically the only social media I'm on. I'm also on Tumblr, but I don't use Tumblr. But go over there, check it out. It's Wazp Ranger, WAZP Ranger. Mostly stream of consciousness stuff, but I do post updates for this podcast in videos whenever I do them. I started a new channel called Planet Zebes. It's like little topic sort of videos about Metroid. Surprising nobody, it has like 10 subscribers at this point. So hopefully one of these videos will like hit the algorithm and I'll get 1 million, billion, trillion subscribers. But until then, I'm just throwing them out there and hoping that some weird nerds find them. But if you want to follow my main channel, which is where you can listen to this podcast free, go on over to It's Only Magic. I made a bunch of other videos in the past. Maybe I'll make some more in the future. I don't get paid for them, so who knows? But maybe I'll make them in the future. It is purely a hobby thing, though, and I need a good show to dig its nails into me to write a script about.
SWAT Cats, baby. Yeah,
SWAT Cats. We're doing SWAT Cats. No. But if you're listening to this on YouTube and you want to support me, please go on over to It's Only Magic on Patreon. $1, you don't get this, but you do get Wow Cool Robot, which is me and my friend Wayne reviewing every single robot in existence. It's great. We've just passed 100 robots reviewed, so check that out. And in the 5 to 10 minute episodes, it's good stuff. You can get through a bunch of them very quick. If you have $5, though, you can get this podcast a whole week early. So if you're listening to this on YouTube, you can get the Kids Next Door episode right now for $5. I'm saying it right now. Kids Next Door is next. You can get that right now for just $5. You can also get other Patreon exclusive stuff, like this shows that I do with Cody, like Doctors in Discuss and Stephen King's, and just now there's a new Transformers movie, so we can do another episode of Robots in Disgust. But this time, apparently, Transformers 1 is good. So
I keep hearing it's good. It's insane. I checked.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. I checked out, and now I'm hearing it's good. Fuck you guys. But
exactly. Yeah, I saw the trailer, and I was like, "This looks bad. I'm not gonna watch it." And then it came out. People were like, "Actually, the trailer was very bad and misleading. It's actually a good movie." I'm like, "God damn it!" I was emotionally, sealed off, and now I have to open back up to watch this. So maybe I'll watch that, sometime soon. But either way, thank you for listening. It was great to talk about Billy and Mandy. It was better to watch a bunch of episodes. It was just so fun going down. And every single I've seen every episode of this fucking show so many times that it's just like, even the most innocuous episodes, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this one.
It was just like coming home. It was like coming home, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's gonna feel like that again when we do the next episode, because you know what?
We're doing Kids Next Door, baby.
Kids Next Door.
We're doing it. Oh man, we're gonna. This is a big one. This is a huge tastemaker for. I mean, if Billy and Mandy is in one way, but Kids Next Door is for sure in another way. So
yeah, a cartoon so influential, motherfuckers are still on the internet asking for a sequel.
Yep.
Crazy. Crazy.
But all right, take care, everybody, and just remember, same as it ever was, same as it ever was, same as it ever was, same as it ever was.